Golf Central on YouTube, brought to you by Apex Irons from Callaway.
Getting set for the 149th Open along the southern edge of Pegwell Bay in the small seaside town of Sandwich, 90 minutes outside of London on a humpy, bumpy stretch of land discovered by a surgeon who was out for a walk at a nearby church in the late 1800s. Course named for the patron saint of England, and for the 15th time, Royal St. George is hosting the Open. It had been canceled a year ago, so everyone happy the Open is back.
Not having the Open last year was obviously, it was disappointing because you want to play in the biggest tournaments year in, year out, but I think coming back here and having the big grandstands and having the crowds out there and, you know, all that type of stuff and everything that comes along with the Open Championship, I think that's going to be pretty cool this week.
Obviously one of my favorite kind of golf experiences during the year. It was kind of sad that was the only major we didn't play last year, and we're back where we're supposed to be last year, and I've never been here before. It's a really cool golf course, just play 9. It's tricky. You gotta know your lines off the tee really, really well, and also coming into the greens, tons of slopes that you can use. But it's really special. I was really bummed about last year, but happy that we're here back.
It's a tough one because 2020 obviously provided a lot of challenges for a lot of different reasons. And the other 3 majors were played, and this one wasn't. And in my opinion, this is the biggest and best of them all. And the fact that this one wasn't played was disappointing. But understandably, things were different here than they were in the States, and the other 3 were played. So, totally get it and totally understand. But it is great to be back. I think it just makes it a little sweeter that we're here. And yeah, it's, I haven't really, last week I played Scotland, or I guess this week still was playing in Scotland. I hadn't really played links golf in a couple of years. So it's nice to get back on this turf and get used to this style of golf again. And it's been so nice this year to play a regular schedule, have people back again, and feel like life's pretty much back to normal.
Been 2 years since Shane Lowry won by 6 at Royal Portrush, Northern Ireland, taking home the claret jug. It was in good hands and in a few pubs in that time. COVID pandemic began last spring. April 6, R&A announcing the cancellation of that 2020 Open. And R&A Chief Executive Martin Slumber confirming the 2021 Open would be played as scheduled. And just last month, the announcement that 32,000 spectators will be allowed at the Open each day later this week. That's not quite a capacity, but no doubt it will be loud. And joined by a man who's played the Open a number of times, Brandel Chambly. I was struck, Brandel, by what Rory said. He thinks this is the biggest and the best of all the major championships.
Outside of the United States, the rest of the golf world, majority of the people that play the game outside of the United States, I think that they would agree with Rory McIlroy, and they would indeed point towards the Open Championship. To state the obvious, it was the first, 1860, so it was the only major championship for 35 years. In terms of scope and scale, you've been there. The footprint of the Open Championship is monstrous. It's mind-boggling. And when you get there for the very first time, as I did in 1982, went over and tried to qualify, went back in 87, went back to qualify in 95, finally was exempt in 2001. But each time I was mesmerized by the Open Championship. It's hard to single anyone out. We're meant to be impartial in the media. It's like describing one of your favorite children. You just don't do that. Right. But you ask professional golfers, it's an oft-asked question, what's your favorite major championship? My favorite one to travel to is the Open Championship.
How nice is it to have the Open back after what we've all been through?
Yeah, 2019 was another world ago, wasn't it? I mean, I'm not saying any of us really took for granted our ability to move around the world, but so much tragedy has struck the world since the 2019 Open, which I think Roy was alluding to there. But it's good to get back and see the best players have a go at it. See if Shane Lowry, who, by the way, has played some very good golf this year, not particularly good in 2020, but in 2021 he's played some really good golf. So it'd be great to see him in the mix again, and perhaps like another Republic of Ireland player, Padraig Harrington, defend. Padraig Harrington, of course, did it in 2007, 2008.
A man who won the U.S. Open last year. Bryson DeChambeau doesn't have the best form coming in, but he's still Bryson. He's trying to shake things up, has a new caddy on the bag by the name of Brian Ziegler, and Todd Lewis caught up with Bryson.
Well, he's a hard worker. He's somebody that is very much like Tim in regards to work ethic, and somebody that has worked with Chris Como for quite a bit, learned under him. And honestly, we've just had an open line of communication about, golf swing stuff and speed training things. And so it creates a nice little circle between Chris, Brian, and I, and Connor even, just to all have us be, on the same page, which is great. And honestly, I'm looking forward to a fresh new start. It's just going to be, I would say from a, mindset perspective, a little different. And I think it's going to be good to start this next chapter of my life.
How different and why?
I would say that the difference is just he's younger. He's obviously got a lot more, I would say, spryness to him. In a sense, Tim was struggling with his knees a little bit. He's obviously 53, something like that. So he's been talking to me about that a little bit. And for me, it's honestly just a new mindset, new person on the bag that allows me to be, I would say, a little more open-minded with things. And we just kind of got into a little box, I'd say, and for me, it just frees me up a little bit, which is great.
When I chatted with you at the U.S. Open, you said on the eve of the first round, you said, my commitment is to hit the ball as far as I possibly can. You're seeing this golf course now for the first time. Is that the same philosophy here? Yeah,
I would say that there's a few areas where you can do that, but man, for the most part, you can't be in this long stuff. You're going to get penalized quite a bit. And so strategy is going to change over the course of the week, depending on the rain, the weather, and everything, as it always does at a British Open. So that's what I look forward to doing, and the test is going to be unique as always.
Brandon, why is caddying for Bryson DeChambeau arguably harder than caddying for any other player?
I don't even think it's arguable. There's no doubt about it. Just in terms of the hours, it's a tough job lugging that bag around all day long, standing there, for the warm up, for the rounds, for the warm down, and then when the sun goes down, they're still there. And then it's not just that he's standing there. I mean, you're having to make decisions, based upon meteorological elements. You have to survey the land. You have to figure out how far Paul Bunyan hits a 9-iron. It goes 200 yards.
Yeah.
The game in his world, and he is a very linear man, but the game is abstract. So he's trying to divine out of an abstract game linear equations, and he needs help to do it. So you're not just toting that bag around picking yardages. You're doing math, and you're on a lot. And he's a pretty emotional fella, Bryson, and at times, and I've never heard that he treats his caddies poorly, but he, from time to time, can be somewhat impatient.
3 previous Open appearances for Bryson DeChambeau. Best finish was a T51. The other 2 were missed cuts. But you don't put a whole lot of stock in those results. Why is that?
Yeah, there's a before and after with him.
Okay.
I mean, just like that stuff you see on social media, before and after, right?
Although he has leaned out a little bit.
He's leaned out, but the club head speed's still there.
Gotcha.
If anything, it's faster.
Okay.
So, before this transformation, he'd played beginning in 2020. He'd played in 14 major championships and missed 6 cuts and had 0 top 10s. Since then, he's played in 6 majors, no missed cuts, a win and a 4th place finish. So I know his record's poor at the Open Championship, but I don't think we've seen the best of Bryson in an Open.
He is the 6th ranked player in the world. That gets underway Thursday, the 149th Open.